Hello, beautiful beings, kings, and queens. Welcome back to Golden Petals, the podcast. Hola, mis amores. Bienvenidos al podcast Pétalos de Oro. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's chat. How have you been? How are you feeling? I hope that you're having a great day. And if not, I definitely hope that you feel better by the end of this video. I'm so excited to be here with you today. You can find Golden Petals on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Golden Petals 1111. It's the same username across all channels. You can also send love donations to Golden Petals 1111 on Cash App. Thank you for that. The love donations are not required, but they are appreciated. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll just jump right into it. Today, we're going to be talking about the cost of change. The cost of change. I just came back from vacation. And I had an amazing time. Yo estaba en Puerto Rico con mi familia y nos gozamos en cantidad. I always leave with my heart feeling centered and my spirit feeling recharged. And there was a moment when I was in the ocean and I was just reflecting and I was thinking about what it costs us to change and shift in life. So I definitely wanted to talk about that with y'all today. But before we dive in, I would love to hear in the chat, what is your dream vacation? What is your dream vacation place? I truly enjoy reading y'all comments. You know, we're building a community here together. We're building a community and a safe space where we can learn, heal, and grow together. And I truly enjoy reading your comments and your feedback. So go ahead and leave in the comments yellow hearts, and definitely be sure to also leave your dream vacation place or somewhere that you enjoy going to release, rest, relax, and have peace of mind. So back to the cost of change. The one thing in life that is constant is change. There can definitely be earthquake moments that shake things up and shift our life. Some changes can be for the better. Some changes can feel like they're for the worse. And it's not easy navigating through those transitional spaces in life. And those transitions can be portals to transformations. Pain can absolutely be a portal to your power. It may not feel like it in the moment, but there definitely is some truth to the fact that on the other side of change, there can be something greater than what you're able to feel or experience at this time. When those earthquake moments happen and things shift and they shake up, it's very easy to be discouraged and enter a space of doubt. Some of the things that I've learned that combat that are the 4Gs. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So I have 4 points, the 4Gs, and these are tools that can help navigate when it comes to experiencing changes. Number 1, growth. Number 2, grace. Number 3, goals. And number 4, God. Growth, grace, goals, the 4 G's of navigating change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. The cost of remaining the same is your comfort zone. The cost of remaining the same is familiarity. Growth demands change. So jumping into point number 1, growth. Growth demands change. And things can stay the same if nothing changes. So in order to avoid that stagnancy or overcome that stagnancy, some of the first things that we have to maneuver through are uncomfortability and unfamiliarity. Going through changes is not easy. Let's just start there. In the process of evolving, healing, growing, or just when life is lifing, the growth that is demanded from us can feel unfamiliar. Navigating through the unknown can absolutely be uncomfortable, scary, and a challenge. Changes can bring challenges. So navigating through those spaces, it's important to remember that you are a garden. You are a garden, and you want to nourish yourself even as you're going through these transformations, transitions, and shifts. You want to nourish yourself and pour into yourself while you are growing. In gardens, you pull out weeds, you prune dead ends, things that aren't growing anymore. And you make sure that you're in a soil that is fertile and can be an environment for good fruit to grow. So sometimes in the process of growth, we are challenged with ways that we have been comfortable. We are challenged with ways that we have been conditioned to believe, to think, to operate, to move. And sometimes in order to create something that you have never created before, you have to do things that you have not done before. And it goes back to that survival versus thriving. And things that you do in seasons of being in survival mode, those tools may no longer be needed in seasons where now it's time for you to thrive and level up. And learning the difference between, okay, this served me in one season, but this is no longer serving me in the next season. And it's easier said than done. So making sure that while you are tending to yourself, you are also allowing space for the transformation to take place. Sometimes weeds in our garden can be limited beliefs, negative thinking, self-sabotaging behaviors. It can be old versions of ourselves that are no longer able to carry through these new chapters and new levels that we are unlocking and that are calling our name to jump into. Your old life may cost you your new one, and that can be a lot to process and let go of, because naturally what comes with that is grief. You're grieving what you wanted, what you once had, what you thought that you wanted, or what you thought that you were going to have. And so holding a safe space for all of the very real and valid emotions that come up in growth is key. Giving yourself permission for your humanity as you grow through these changes. And the same way that the weather has seasons, so does your life. So does your life. The 4 seasons are typically summer, spring, fall, or no, let me go in order. Hold on, let me not confuse people. Let me go in order. So usually there's winter, spring, summer, fall, right? So in the winter time, it's cold. Things don't seem like, to the eye, they don't appear like they're moving. The winter time, it can be a time to hibernate, if you will, rest, realign, recharge. It's a more still season, right? That stillness then leads to spring. In spring, things begin to blossom. There is rebirth. There is renewal. Things are starting to slowly but surely come into fruition. Then there's summertime. It's warm. Things are flourishing. You can see the abundance. You can feel the abundance. It's a different energy. And then the fall, that's when the winds start to change. The leaves start to change color. Leaves start to fall from their trees. They're shedding, right? Getting ready to go into another season of that winter, and the cycle starts all over again. So the same way the weather has seasons, so do our lives. Our lives have seasons as well. And so understanding in the growth process, there are even seasons in that. And when we are in seasons of growth, just remembering that this is not forever. It may feel like it. This is only one season and one chapter of your story. So knowing that you can grow through what you go through. And as you go through these things and you're growing, it's important to give yourself grace. Which brings us to our second point, the second G, grace. It's a lot when you're going through changes. It's a lot when you are navigating through things. So making sure that you give yourself grace and that you're kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Have compassion for yourself. Have compassion for those around you. And understanding that you are on your journey, everyone else is on their journey, and you are only responsible for your journey. You are only responsible for what is within your control. And finding the gift in this season. It may be easier said than done, for sure. But it's an important perspective to keep in mind, because perspective can have a big impact on everything. And if you're able to hone in on gratitude and finding a gift in this season, it can definitely give you a boost as you are navigating through the challenges that come with changes. Giving yourself permission for your humanity, giving yourself permission to make mistakes and still know that you are capable of bringing into fruition what you're working towards. In life, as we evolve, there are certain versions of ourselves that shed. Going back to the leaves, right? In the seasons, in fall, the leaves change color, the leaves shed. In life, there are versions of ourselves that change, that evolve, and we shed layers of ourselves. And shedding a layer of yourself, if you've been through it, you know it. If you know, you know. It is a very painful process. And it's kind of like that awkward in-between phase, because it's like you're not who you've been and you're not quite where you want to be going yet. And it's kind of like once you see things, you can't unsee it. So you can't go back to what you once knew, but you're still developing into this new version of yourself and settling into this new version of life. Give yourself grace. Give yourself permission to be human and acknowledge the validity of how you're feeling and celebrate yourself in the process. Every win is worth acknowledging and celebrating, big or small. So you want to find the gift in right now, and you want to make sure that you are giving yourself grace in this season of changes and growth. Which then brings us to our third point, goals. Goals, short term versus long term, big and small. You want to be clear on what your goals are. And you want to, once you get clear, cut the distractions. You want to cut the distractions. You want to, going back to those weeds, right? You want to make sure that you cut and pull out any weeds that are getting in the way of your growth. And that is sometimes a painful process, because we identify weeds, and sometimes those weeds or dead ends can be people, places, or things that we have attachments to. And that's the uncomfortable part of the journey, because naturally you want people to go with you on this next level, but unfortunately not everyone can come. And that is a difficult part when you are going through changes and processes, is sometimes when there are certain expired connections, things that once resonated don't resonate anymore, or you're in a certain place and another person, they're in a different place. It can be a challenge when people who you love, be it family, be it friends, whoever, people who you have been comfortable with throughout the years, when it doesn't resonate the way that it does. And it's not personal, it's vibrational. And finding the grace in that transition, like there does not need to be disrespect in the disconnect at all. You are where you are, they are where they are, it's all love. You just need to focus on you and your journey and what God is calling you to do, and focusing on yourself. And it can absolutely be uncomfortable. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all or sugarcoat. That is part of the process, the uncomfortability. But on the other side of that, on the other side of the challenges, on the other side of the uncomfortability, on the other side of those growing pains, there is transformation. On the other side of that, there is a higher, healthier version of you. On the other side of that, there is a leveled up, elevated version of your life. On the other side of that, it is unlocking your purpose with intention. So as intimidating as that may be, it's absolutely liberating and worth it. I had said in my last video, when I talked about investing in yourself, how you are your best investment. And that's true. So when you are focusing on your goals, you want to keep in mind what are things that help elevate and invest you into your best self. And part of identifying goals is also identifying what is it or who is it around you that is adding or subtracting from those goals and responding accordingly. And part of navigating through that process leads us to our fourth and final point, the most important point: God. Let God be your focus and your portion. As you are growing through what you're going through, you're working towards your goals, you want to include God in that process, because God has the ability to do things much greater and beyond our power and expectations. And God wants to be included in that process. Let God be your focus and your portion. God wants relationship with all of us, and perfection is not a prerequisite for a blessing. So we don't have to wait until we get our sugar honey iced tea together in order to go to God with something. God wants the messy parts too. So giving to God and surrendering to God the things that you're struggling with, and asking for God to help you through that process, and inviting God into that process, and allowing space for God to transform and work through you, work through your circumstance, work through your situation, and work in your life. My best friend's mom has told us for many, many years, God will get you over the mountain, but don't be surprised if he gives you a shovel. The change is in the work, kings and queens. The change is in the work. So we absolutely want to go to God. We want to give this process to God while we're working through it. And we also need to do our part as well, to make sure that we're doing what we can do to be the change that we want to see. The cost of change, you have to ask yourself, what is worth it to you? What is worth it to you? Do you prefer to pay the price of staying the same and things remaining stagnant and living with regret and asking yourself, maybe if I would have did this, or that differently? Or do you want to pay the price of going through temporary uncomfortability for long-term gain? The choice is yours. The power is yours. And you have everything within you to overcome everything around you. Put some yellow hearts in the chat for me if that resonated. Yellow hearts in the chat if this is making sense. Yellow hearts in the chat if this resonates. The cost of change. The new you may cost the old you. Your new life may cost you your old life. The cost of remaining the same is your comfort zone and familiarity. So evaluate within yourself with honesty. With honesty, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? And what is it that you're willing to do to make that happen? It's not an easy process, but that doesn't mean that it's not worth it. And your best life is only one decision away. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in to the Golden Petals podcast. You can find Golden Petals on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Golden Petals 1111. Golden Petals, the book, is also available on Amazon, and I have the link in the bio and the link in the description. Golden Petals is available in hardcover, paperback, and I also have Golden Petals, the journal, available as well. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, get the book if you haven't already, share it with a loved one. The journal is available too. We are all on this journey together, y'all. And I'm wishing you the most amazing day, an amazing week filled with blessings. And I'm sending a lot of love and light your way. So thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing y'all an amazing day. Until next time.